a very good read into like ult percents as well. So I think NRG, to me at least, are the team to beat.
Well, the interesting thing for me is you talking about how Poise leveled up, because the last time I saw him was the end of Contender Season 1, and it was a very rough time for him, but sounds like he has leveled up in the interim. He's gone perhaps to an area with a better connection. And oh boy, Fozzik is down immediately, so no Clout with no mercy. In a sense, no mercy for the NRG side. They get the early pickoff, and this is going to just allow them to go to town here. They have the 6-on-5 advantage. Hobbs has all the room to work with and more, and NRG is just completely shell-shocked to start out this fight.
I think they're gonna go for the re-engage. Fozzik's on the Mercy. He's gonna be back, and they're gonna try to push him. They've lost all control with the Hobbs. So Straz has to hit an amazing shot onto Hobbs, or someone has to deal with Hobbs if they want to have a chance. But this is gonna be very, very difficult to do.
Res coming up in the moment, and we do see NRG actually starting to fight their way back through. It's rare to see a team do this in the moment. Poise, oh, not quite able to get away. The Venom Mine does its work. Hobbs moving to the right side, looking for pickoffs here once more. And no Clout is keeping up the pressure, and oh, Rob from downtown gets on Hobbs. And that might be enough for NRG. NRG might have just fought this back.
Yeah, I think Rob's actually like a super solid flex support. I remember back when we were doing the World Cup last year for the committee, I wanted him to be one of the people to try out because I thought he was actually like really good. His Ana play back then was fantastic. His Zen is definitely adapted to that kind of level. And you saw right there with him getting those kills and now having Transcendence up, is going to be a major part and a major factor for them to be able to hold this point.
Artist formerly known as Rob420 has his Transcendence. Vita's going to go down immediately. So early Transcend by the offense, and Rob's going to have to Transcend in turn, but it's after two members are down. It's going to be a little bit hard for NRG. They use the time to get it up. Oh, the Transcendence is gone. The Dragon is there, and Pugs takes down two. The Transcendence not up long enough for Pugs, or the deal with Pugs, who just easily takes the fight.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but he had to use a trance there. The grab came at the right time for him too, but that's just what's going to happen as long as they wait you out. You know, as long as they force that Transcendence out of you, then they're going to be able to do just that. They're switching over to a triple tank setup though. So they got Specs still in the Zarya, but they got Poise over to D.Va. So the D.Va to help deal, I think, with the poke damage that they can do against him. I don't have to worry about the Graviton Surge anymore, but Vita Coco is about to have a Shatter. And Swan, he has his ready to go, but he doesn't have a stun to allow him to hit this easily.
Well, Swan, he's going to be going in quickly, almost like a butcher. If you, oh, Hobbs got stressed immediately. Gonna force out the res, but ruins the combination they're going for. Swan had the back out, ends up getting shattered in turn. They were going for the Shattered Dragon Strike. They couldn't pull the trigger immediately. And now it's up to Stratus to try and pick up the pieces here, but every kill is going the way of the offense, and NRG, they're gonna back out.
I mean, I knew no Clout were good. I remember casting them last season, but I did not expect NRG to be walked over so far in this map. Yeah, they were able to retake the first point, but that was just so decisive. And now Smex is going to have a Graviton to maybe stall. Hawk is getting really close to his own, though. 88% for him, 88 for Pugs with the Dragon Strike. He's even pushed up aggressively to make sure to get it up in time. This is going to be tough.
So they open up with the Grav, and I think they're willing to invest the Earth Shatter here as well. First is the Dragon, and the Dragon's enough. Off the Graviton, it gets 3.
Okay, he was just trying to die. He actually... not Valkyrie. He guard angeled into the Dragon Strike to get himself killed quicker, I guess.
Oh, that is how it works out there, I suppose, as NRG able to reestablish. But now you look towards the other end. You gotta look towards Hawk, who has a Graviton up. The Dragon is up on the other side, and Rob doesn't have the Transcendence up yet. And there could be a window where he won't have it in time.
It's a very, very small window. They have to go like now and then hope that the Graviton doesn't get eaten. Rob will certainly get it in the midst of the Graviton, if anything. There it is, Graviton used. Rob, 97%.
Here's the Dragon, no Transcendent time! 4 kills for Pugs, 6, it's a full team wipe! That Dragon was hungrier than me, and an all-you-can-eat buffet after not eating for 2 days.
And I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that's a lot of hunger. That is an insane amount of hunger. I do want to put out just one thing really quickly, is that when they did Graviton, I think only Hawk ran around the corner. I think it was just him. And why I say that is because with the whole team running around the corner, Rob's really likely to hit a left click onto someone to get his Transcendence up in the middle of that fight. But because only one target went, and I think he was not able to hit Hawk, it really prevented that from doing anything. That's a Shatter coming through. Catch on to Hawk with Trance will be there. So no kill really coming in, and there's the counter Trance out of Rob.
See Pugs taking the high ground here, trying to demech the D.Va. Dragon Strike already built up. Hawk, though, a little bit far deep, and it's Smex right now who's being the glue for NRG. No Clout, gonna find themselves backing out.
What do you think, actually? I'm gonna ask you this question since I don't get to ask you often. What do you think of the triple tank setup with the Diva out of poise, but keeping the Hanzo as like their big damage dealer for the combo?
I mean, it's interesting in how that's working right now. I think it's not too bad. Obviously, we're kind of in a new world where we're seeing Diva and Zarya together a little bit more often. And I think part of that is just the fact that you're seeing the Hanzo in play, where you want something a little bit tankier than not get one shot. But there's a Graviton in from the defense here early on. And the Graviton fall through isn't really there. Swan tried to fall through, doesn't really get much of anything. And now you see Pugs working to the back line.
Did I hear a Dragon Strike out of Stratus? I swear to God, I heard the Dragon Strike coming out, but then I got eaten or something. Maybe I'm just misheard it.
It's hard to say. I don't actually know. I was looking at Pugs during all that entire time, so if we did, that was quick, and even quicker was Stratus building up Dragon Strike again, because he's already at 77%.
Yeah, because after I heard it, I looked over and he was like at 30%, so I'm not sure. Maybe he didn't have it up, maybe just hearing something. Either way, Specs up to 40%. Hawk's gonna have his Graviton and combo yet again. Rob at 95%, just where he was last time. So he's doing a fantastic job of getting these ultimates up quickly. There's the Graviton, it's landed, but there's the chance this time.
Dragon coming in, Pugs once more going to the buffet table. Oh, yeah, the Dragon Strike got eaten. They're not going to have it in play this time. Specs continues melting people down, going, okay, enough's enough. No more of that wiping our entire team. And, of course, that was very, very good for NRG there, as Poise is able to keep his team in it and not a buffet for a Dragon.
I was going to say, we did find something hungrier than you or Pugs. The Diva right there. Really well done to eat that one. I mean, it completely stopped the momentum they would have had off of the combo. Now Specs is going to have his own Graviton. They're going to have their own combo to work with. Dino is sitting on his own Transcendence, though. And he's most likely going to be using it here. No, he's not.
Oh, he's just supposed to get dropped on down. He's going to self-destruct. Nope, they said Dragon might be enough, but it wasn't enough. He might have needed to pull the trigger there as a Transcendence from Dino. Going to keep everyone alive. And here comes No Clout. Late self-destruct out for Poise out, trying to make the best of a bad situation. Doesn't get anything. And here comes the tire. Fire in the hole. Might not be 4 a.m., but it's good enough for Hobbs. Gets Rob on the other side. And suddenly, No Clout is getting some momentum back in their flavor.
Sorry, my mind just went straight back to you talking about you at a buffet. Because after you go to buffet, we hear a fire in the hole. Just somewhere else in the building. Sorry,
I mean, these are two things very intrinsically linked. And speaking of linked, there's a drag at the other side. Going to be getting on anyone that's coming on the other end. Hobbs gets Swan very early on. Transcendence out for the defense, trying to hold on against this onslaught by No Clout. Meanwhile, you look towards Hawk. About to have the Graviton up, needs one more shot. Immediately snap Gravitons, picks up 3. I'm not sure the fall through was there. In fact, the tanks of the defense holding strong. But for how long?
Pugs is an absolute madman. He actually 1v2'd Stratus and Phasix by himself. He killed Stratus and he killed Phasix obviously in that fight.
Long range secondary fire from Zarya. Gonna get Dino there, delaying it even more. 10 seconds left. This is gonna be on a whim for No Clout. They're even gonna finish this out.
Do it, the Miracle Strike, Miracle Dragon Strike. They do have a Tracer to touch it. Hobbs gonna do that. The Graviton's come in, it's caught onto 2. Dragon Strike has been used, but doesn't really get too much of anything. And it looks like with those 3 kills now for NRG, that should be enough to close this out. Just on to the 3 left for the side of No Cloud, and it's just pretty much Hobbs now left on the point.
And No Cloud still looking for anything to get back in here, but it's Smex continuing to be the barrier here for NRG. Anytime it was looking like No Cloud was going to get anything going, it was Smex staying alive, dealing all sorts of damage and being charged up all the while. And NRG, they hold the front at the final point of last.
Yeah, they held it. I still have seen better play out of them before in scrims. I think they're definitely not playing to their full potential at the moment. I think maybe it's just it's maybe a little bit of nerves or something like that, but I've definitely seen them to be a stronger team in the past. Then again, No Cloud are definitely proven to be a fantastic team at the same time, so it's kind of hard to judge maybe if it's nerves or if it's just No Cloud being an absolute monster of a team here when it comes to playing in these tournaments.
Well, I think No Cloud, again, they're a team that's had a lot of potential. There's players, as you rightly mentioned earlier on, you have your players like Hawk that looked like they really were ready to take the next step, but it was a disappointment to a lot of people that they weren't able to get into that first season of contenders because they ran into the terror of quad tank operated by bye week. But it does feel like they are, on the upside.
Yeah, definitely, and they've always had a nice strong core with Vita Coco and Hawk in the team. I think I'm trying to remember if Hobbs was there last year or last time we did this. I think he was. I honestly can't remember for the life of me. I know they had Hypnot back then too.
It's hard to say. It's one of those things where I'm pretty sure he was, but also some of the teams kind of blurred together in memory where he was definitely in the last beat invitational at a minimum. But I do think he was with no Clout.
I think Pugs is a new guy though. Pugs, Insomnia, and Dino, I think are all new for the team. But
Well, I
either
mean,
way,
Pugs is putting me in the level here. I was like, I used to like cats, but now I love Pugs. I know what to tell you.
I'm sorry, I hate cats and I hate Pugs. Those dogs are ugly as ass.
Okay, that's not their fault.
Actually,
they're not even nature's big mistake. They're humanity's big mistake, but they're still adorable. Come on,
No,
man.
I'm sorry. No, I'm not a fan. I mean, a Labrador any day of the week. Anyways, call the attack now for NRG. They have the 2-2-2. They have the Junkrat and the Hanzo. No Widowmaker this time. And Hobbs and Pugs will be running double sniper for them for no Clout. Again, it could be kind of spreading out most likely. Actually, they're both sticking together, which is really surprising because that shield can't put up a lot of damage or take a lot of damage when you have a Junkrat on the enemy team.
What they did, though, they cut away Hobbs' major sightline here, so Hobbs isn't able to get anything done with this defensive Widow. He's going to have to fully reposition to the other side.
I mentioned this in the first game, by the way. Sorry to cut you off, but the Goats, they just needed to take this building away from them when Envision set up on it. They've done exactly that. They've come around from behind him. They've lost a couple of people here or there because Pugs is...
Oh my goodness.
He's done with his chew toys. He wants some real meat, and he's been able to pick up 3 kills there.
I have never seen a Pug be this deadly, but it has been great to watch so far. And to your point, yeah, that was a nice repositioning coming around from the defense, and it let them work it out, even with Hobbs not getting exactly what he wanted in the beginning.
Look at this major switch up now coming in. We got a Genji, we got a Tracer, we got full dive back into effect here. It's 2016, no, 2017, early parts of 2017. Maybe the middle part says this. I can't remember. There was so many games. But
the most commonly played Overwatch composition historically.
Exactly.
How about that? Because that's likely true at this point. Pug's gonna back out everyone in this tight area, but there's the dragon. Don't get into a closed alley when a dragon is in place. Pugs picks up another 3. This is just becoming routine for Pugs right now, as he has been the biggest thorn in the side of NRG.
He might not be able to breathe well, but he can sure get kills, it seems. Sorry, that was like,
well,
that was
my
like the
God,
worst.
now I've just made this association. We're just gonna be making Pug jokes all day long.
Instead of making jokes, I'm gonna give a quick shout out to Soylent, to Plexter, to Sennheiser, Twitch, and AMD for being sponsors of this tournament, and keep my puns to myself for now.
Wow. First we go to just bring up every negative trait of a Pug, then we go to selling out, but now here comes the attack of NRG. Swan can't really get to the top, but Stratus is taken down immediately. Pugs continues his relentless assault on the flank, has 2 to begin with, and now just drops down for a bit of cleanup.
I'm amazed they've been able to hold on to this one. Like, NRG, like, I completely had him pitted as a favorite the whole tournament, but no Cloud are making me rethink this completely. Apparently, I'm a terrible person for not liking cats and Pugs. Anyways, but this is, I'm actually confused.
You might not have a soul, that's fine, I mean.
They're not cool dogs, and cats are the worst.
Oh my God. All right, well, as you sit here offending lovers of animals everywhere, Pugs doesn't really care. Already very close to another Dragon Strike. Gonna activate the Storm Arrows here in the beginning. And here's what he's looking for. To build up quickly and then drive the Dragon into the hearts of his enemies. Not even need to do that! Backed up by his tanks, he picks up another 3.
They've been unable to lock down Hobbs. They've been unable to lock down Pugs. Actually, no. I take that back. They've been able to lock them down, but not together. In the first attack, Pugs set off to the side, attacked him from behind. This time, Hobbs just kept bouncing back and forth between like the high ground, so they actually couldn't get to him. They're struggling to deal with both of the snipers. Yeah, we're talking about Pugs a ton, but Hobbs surviving for such a long time is allowing Pugs to get a lot of these extra kills because the focus is taken away from him.
It's that double threat where once you get one of the threats down, you have a much easier time. They haven't been able to get either down. And by the way, they have 38 seconds left, and they have to do so through the barrel of a Dragon Strike, where they keep going in these tiny areas where Pug's just sitting here, wagging his tail, going, all right, let's go. Drops another Dragon Strike in, gonna be forcing them away. This time they get away from the Dragon. Pugs doesn't quite have the opening he wants, and down he goes. Stratus gets rid of the threat. Blade coming out, and NRG might not be out of this here just yet.
Yeah, the Dragon didn't really hit much. Really good disengage. Then again, they're committing everything into this fight they possibly can, realizing they have no time left to work with. They will finally capture the point, with only about 5 seconds left on the board. And real quick question, ZP. You know how people have nightmares of the Dragon coming at them? Just imagine if it was 2 Pugs instead of 2 dragons being thrown at you.
I think it's actually the scariest thing imaginable, because you're just like, oh, it's so cute. It can't actually do any damage. And then before you know it, you're just like, did I just die to a Pug? Yes! Yes, you did! That's the world we're living in.
I think that's just natural selection if you die to a Pug. I don't think you belong to be on this earth anymore. Either way, though, Hobbs switched over from the Widowmaker to Brigitte. So they've got more of like the 2.5 tanks set up. That's going to be a Substruct thrown into the back lines, and it does catch one, but Specs this one as well. That's going to be a Zen for a Mercy trade.
And it's still no Clout on the better end of that trade. They're getting the kills they need. Yeah, you have Hobbs now on the Brigitte, and Pugs just going to stay on the Hanzo all the while, where I'm getting note, by the way, in terms of change-ups here. Oh, boys got Pugs from downtown. Now they don't have to worry about the Hanzo for that long. Pugs was able to get away, and Poise suddenly made a very big opening here for NRG to get through most of second.
And Phasix with the sound barrier is going to help like facilitate any extra ult damages that could come their way. But luckily for them, like Pugs is still 30% off. They don't have to worry about a Shatter for a long time. Like they don't really have that many ultimates coming up, or that many aggressive ultimates coming up anytime soon. This could be a very hard retake here, but you need to see Vada Coco just like go off. He needs to be able to swing freely, but it's so hard to do when you're up against a Zen and they have speed against you.
Early barrier here. Hobbs gonna get caught out. NRG engaging very well. They caught them off guard with the speed boost. Pugs though, gonna drop the Dragon Strike. This worked out well from before. This might be a harder sell here. Not gonna get the kills that he was looking for this time. Didn't have the same level of support, but it does delay. And that might be enough. Oh, by the way, Pugs, Dragon coming at you. Taste of your own medicine, but it's dodged the entire way. No Cloud has bought enough time. They're gonna transcend. They come back in, but fire in the hole. Vita Koto gonna fall, and it's still high pressure coming in from NRG.
They had so many supports such alive that they're able to keep Vita alive, and that's gonna be the Shatter coming through. That should be then capture the point. And Somniac's gonna actually go in towards the payload to contest. He'll die shortly thereafter, and they will take the second point. But again, 30 seconds remain on the board when they did come across that line, and they have to transition it to just a completion. So they got past the hardest part of the match now for them, taking that first point and now taking second, because they don't need to finish with time. They just need to finish to win the map.
And that's always a good victory condition to have. You don't have to worry about extra rounds or anything crazy like that. You're just like, yeah, I'm just going to go and finish this off. And speaking of finishing things off, Smex, he was the hero on the defense here. Now we might be the hero on the offense. Graviton Surge ready. Vita Coco too far out and gone. And this could be the finisher here. Smex diving in deep, holding on to the ground. Doesn't even need to use it for this 2-kill advantage. Gonna be melting Hawk down on the opposite side. It's a Pug's Dragon Strike, but the Transcend is there. Not going to be saving them this time. A Graviton to finish off Hawk, and NRG finishes out the map in style.
There you go. All right, so that's what we needed to see of them. A very rough start on defense and on offense there, where they came back and did it when the time mattered. Really good focus by a Smexen team at the end as well, by going for the Diva, trying to kill Hawk immediately so they would have nothing to stop the Graviton, even though the Graviton really didn't do much in the end. And Pugs, even though NRG won the map, he's got my MVP vote of this map, just with how, look at those shots.
Well, when your Dragon eats the entirety of the other team, yeah, you can have MVP of the map. That's totally fine. Yeah, it was set up by the Graviton there, but the follow-through was still very good, and we saw Pugs over and over again take over games with that Hanzo, and look, it's a new ball game with Hanzo right now, where he's better than he's ever been. And I would say No Clout was probably using him more effectively than NRG was, where NRG had compositions where they weren't using the Hanzo, and that might be a mistake right now at this current level of power. We'll have to see.
I mean, they did have, was it Stratus played him for the most part of the Hanzo. The problem was that they kept like waiting for these combos, like these wombo combos with the Graviton and with the Dragon Strike, whereas Pugs is more like open to just using it just to use it, you know? If you compare how many Stratus got off versus Pugs, I think Pugs easily had like 3 or 4 more strikes in general, with the same amount of time, just because he wasn't afraid, and also because they weren't necessarily running a Zarya at all times to combo it with. As long as he plays in a certain position and funnels them towards him in a tight area, like we saw in first point, it's free kills.
And particularly with how NRG was trying to play it, when you think back to that No Clout defense, where they're just like, yes, we'll take the high ground. We will catch you off guard by going to this tiny area. And Pugs is just sitting there, you know, doing whatever Pugs doing. It's like, I fire a dragon into the tiny corridor. I got 3 kills.
Is this like a D&D session? Like, yes. I fire a dragon into the corridor. All right, go ahead and roll.
I mean,
I rolled a 20. All right, you wiped the whole team.
I mean, that might be like filtering its way into my casting more than I would care to admit, because recently I have been in a D&D group where it's actually been fun. I never played it prior to this, and I actually get in trouble for role-playing a little bit too much. But yeah, now if you go suddenly, it's like, yeah, he rolled a 20. Well, now you know why. I've been infected, Jason.
So let me ask you one question about that, and then I'll leave it alone. What character, like what class? I'm imagining a wizard.
So that's my second character. The first character I played was a balding, down on his luck, halfling gnome with the handlebar mustache. That is, sorry, halfling rogue, not gnome.
So like real life. No, sorry.
Yeah,
I'm just
yeah,
kidding.
pretty much, exactly.
You're
But
not a
yeah,
gnome.
Halfling Rogue, very sad character. Nothing goes well for him. It's great.
To live your misery out on someone else's life. We are going to the next map. It's going to be Dorado. We are just getting everyone back in the lobby. We're trying to force the correct servers. I believe we're going to be going west again because NRG do have 2 Korean players. So that will just take a quick second. But we still have a lot more matches to come up today. We still have bye week up against Karasuno to come up next. Then we have, I believe it's Goats. No, Envision up against Grizzly Esports as our second match of the day. No, am I wrong? Did Goats win that? No, Goats lost that. Yeah.
No,
Envision.
Goats didn't. That match was so quick that you actually
Right,
erased
yeah,
the
I
memory
forgot.
of it from your brain because Envision just ruined Goats. They're like, yes, Goats, you are farm animals. This is your place in the world. Have a tin can and goodbye.
See, I'd rather have a goat pet than a pug pet, but that's just me. So Envision versus Grizzly as a winner bracket match, and then the winner of this match versus the winner of bye week versus Karasuno, and then we'll round up the entire day with the best of 5 between all the winners, or the 2 winners of these matches. So yeah, so a lot more action coming today, and as well tomorrow, same start time, if you guys want to join us for that.
It'd be fun. Of course, day 1 is always great, but day 2, that's when the storylines have developed a little bit more. We know what the teams are actually bringing to bear. Of course, we've weeded out some of the weaker teams, and you get strong team against strong team. Day 2, always a blast. Of course, let's start tournament a bit of a blast from the past in terms of old Overwatch online tournaments, but we are over 10K viewers right now. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. It is a pleasure to have you guys as our audience.
Yeah, it's always great. Always great to have you guys here. Taking a little break from Owl to come watch our casting. Whether that's better or worse, I don't know. I think it's for you guys to decide, not us. It's different. Much more carefree. And I think we're actually getting underway. So Dorado, currently a 1-0 lead for NRG. Did not expect I would be so hesitant to say that, considering, again, how dominant I've seen them in the past. But no Clout have definitely been able to put up a good fight. They've had some fantastic plays out of Pugs, had some really good defense. Their offense has been okay. I think their defense has been more where it's been shining for me, at least personally.
Yeah, I mean, their defense and how they ran it, where what we saw from No Cloud and just adjusting to how NRG was running their offense was like, oh yeah, we're going to go to the left. Well, actually, we're going to fully readjust and send AoEs down your side. And just being able to do that effectively was great to watch. And I mean, part of it did come down to Pugs, right? Where Pugs was very effective. And the time that NRG got through was the time that Stratus got in personally and got rid of the threat, put the Pugs down. As horrible as it sounds, that was what was needed for NRG to get through.
Okay, don't get excited, ZP. I know you can see it. You know I see it, but it's not happening. All right, the Symmetra will be changed away from Fazix.
I wanted to believe.
I don't. Not until her rework comes out. Then I'll believe it.
I was going to say, you know she's getting reworked, right? Where there might be a new world where you have Riptides going through portals and all sorts of fun shenanigans.
I can imagine all the trolls out there who'll make it go into a death pit as well. But just wanted to point out, so we're seeing no Reinhardt, no Zarya. We're actually seeing Hog or Risa out of both teams. And the Hog is actually really good for a couple of situations. Really hard as a Hanzo to kill a Hog without Scatter Arrow because you can just turn your back and you can't be headshotted and you can heal his damage. But also a Hog can limit the pass you can use to get into an attack. He can lock down like the back flank by himself. All he has to do is hook you and then just like stay around that general vicinity, protect the supports. He also has a ton of damage. He can burst through shields. And then the hook potential with Orisa, where you'll see a Hulk go out of her. She'll proc it, so it pulls everyone together, and then you hit a guaranteed hook. So Hog can be extremely strong right now, and you can be looking for those Hulks to come out every time.
I think you're right on the money there. It's also a hero that, frankly, doesn't have to worry about getting one-shot by a Hanzo or Widowmaker, which has its own value when you see teams running a lot of Widow Hanzo. However, Dino going to be dealing with Swan immediately here. Swan a little bit out of position. And now NRG has to go, how do we fight this back? Down a barrier tank here. Part of that might be Poise going to the right, looking for a pickoff. Specs gets better of his other counterpart, but it's immediately rezzed back up. Both Roadhogs back in play. It's Hobbs getting Poise on the other side. And Hobbs having more of a go here. It used to be about Pugs, now it might be more about Hobbs. As No Clout's very close to getting through the courtyard. They just need 1 or 2 more kills, and Hobbs gets Stratus on the flip side.
So you're telling me we went from Pugs to Tigers? This isn't a zoo, ZP. It's not possible. I'm actually amazed NRG were able to defend this. With Swan going down like that early on, they had no way to contest. They had to give up so much free ground, but the recontest comes in. and they take the control back.
You know what, Jason? Now you're just making me sad that Calvin doesn't play competitively, because we could have had aimbot Calvin versus Hobbs.
Or on the same team.
Oh my god.
That'd be just
no,
good.
that would be illegal. You can't have that much good nostalgia on one team. I'm sorry.
Well, we just gotta get Calvin playing Overwatch again and trying to play professionally. I think he's kind of given up on it. I don't know. I don't really see him trying to play for teams anymore.
He was on Streamer Showdown a while back, and well, he didn't know much about Overwatch 4.
Mendo, Calvin, and XQC were terrible at knowing like the heroes. Oh, I was so tilted by that.
It's almost like to play the game professional at some point, then you'd think they'd know more. But either way, NRG holding here in the courtyard. Poise looking for pickoffs. Oh, self-destruct, sneaky from the back. Not going to connect. Not sneaky enough. They were able to adapt. Instead, it's going to be a dragon out from NRG going through, pushing the offense back. And no Clout's looked a little bit lost here so far. Only a minute 38 left.
If actually the self-destruct didn't catch the ledge, I think it would have gotten like a kill or two. I think it had the potential for it. Again, really good use of the halts. I'm trying to pay attention to how they're going out. Vita Coco hit a really good one to 3 or 4 people, and Swad was very smart about that, just to pop his Fortify to eat up that damage for everyone else on his team. But again, those hooks, those combos are so deadly. And look at positioning, most importantly, out of the Hogs. Because they're, like, I think, the real Lich Pins. If you take them down, I think you can easily just decimate the defense or the offense.
Well, taking down a wild pig is never easy here, Jason. It can fell kings, in fact, even in fiction. But NRG, for now, just holding back, not letting themselves get picked. Oh my goodness, halt into hook. That's enough to get Specs out of the fight. So, to your theory here, let's see NRG get tested. They're down a hog, Clout up a player, and they're going to move on in. They don't really care about the supercharge that much. They're moving on in, over the top. They're helped out as Hobbs picks off another, and no Clout now might finally have what they need to get on through.
Yeah, they should. 100%. Nothing else to stop them. Rob's going to go down. Specs the last one alive. And you know what's really dirty about the hook, or the halt hook combo? So they're both on 8-second cooldowns. So you're never really going to see a halt just go out. Or honestly, it's not like they're just throwing it out for no reason. They're only going to use it for these hooks. And with them both being on the same cooldown, it's just free picks for days. And they're finally able to make that work, though, getting them pulled over the shield.
And once they got that early pick on the Smex, you saw how quickly NRG ended up folding there. So this is where No Clout would love to move in and actually take advantage of the swinging momentum. But the dragon from Stratus catches No Clout in a tight corridor once more. And Stratus giving a little bit of a taste of his own medicine to Pugs.
I mean, I think they might actually take that, because they waited out the Infrasight out of Widowmaker, out of Poise, and then they also got out the Dragon Strike out of Stratus. So there's really no offensive ultimates left. The only thing they will have is the whole hog to worry about. I don't think that's not that bad of a trade. I think NRG figured we need to kind of prevent them from getting high ground against us. But now they have to concede that high ground because, well, guess what? Hobbs has Infrasight himself.
And Hobbs, for now, going to be looking for any early pickoffs he can get. Not in the greatest position for it right now. Has a little bit of shot on Smex, but says, nah, don't really want that. He's going behind the shield. Hobbs said he's on an adventure right now. Might not have Calvin by his side, but, oh, he has a great opportunity. Gets points. Can he get the 2 for looking for mercy? Oh, yes! Gets Fozix in the moment. Hobbs has broken this wide open now for No Clout.
And Pug's just looking to sack up onto another blade, or to his first blade at the time. Specs does get 1 kill with the whole hog, but you know what? I don't know if 1 kill is going to be enough. Self-destruct to be forced out. Hawk get able to resuit in just a few seconds, and actually Specs and Swan together have been able to pick up a couple of kills. They've prevented any sort of progress on the payload. Yes, they will eventually die, but they bought time now for their team to set up here.
They were the buzz kill for No Cloud, where Hobbs says, look, team, question mark, just killed 2. Can we go on forward? And no, you had that tank play from NRG, able to slow things down, and now you only have a minute left, going to arguably the hardest point on Dorado to take, this bend around second.
Let's get you back out there.
Keeping ×3 on the payload, though. It's giving Vita Coco some time to actually get set up on the high ground with Pugs. Stratus is about to have another blade. Or sorry, not a blade, a Dragon Strike. I don't know, this could really go anyone's way. I mean, NRG have, I think, the superior setup, but Vita Coco actually just eliminated it. If Pugs did not die there, they actually might have had a chance to take this point, because Vita Coco can force out Poise, and not to mention Hobbs now with Infrasight. Hopefully for him, we'll have some free pickings.
Pugs not quite as good as the other Shimada brother. Dragon Strike gonna force out the Transcendence from the offense. And look, Transcendence working quite well for the offense. They're able to group around it, play the payload, get a few key pickoffs, and now they might be getting through second, which is not guaranteed on Dorado. And hey, you might have gotten pick up in the back for Poise, but he needs to get over to the payload. No one's left around, and that's going to be no Clout, extending time just a little bit more.
Kha'Zix is a cheeky Mercy. I think out of all the Mercies I've watched, he gets the most aggressive with Valkyries, especially against this like double sniper compositions we've been seeing a lot. He can get right in the face of a Widowmaker and kill her and then get away. Like, it's really hard to kill Mercy as a Widow these days. You hardly ever see it happen, especially when you're Guardian Angel around or flying around. But now into the third point, Rob's gonna be forced to use a Transcendence. That's a major win now for No Clout.
And look at this, Hawk is still in the back, has a self-destruct at the right. The problem is that NRG was able to dive in pretty effectively with that Transcendence. And Hawk, he's taking a quick dive off the cliff. Celeste sends her regards, and that's going to be NRG holding here. 1 minute left.
I got that reference. I feel like Captain America. I got that reference.
I got that.
But again,
Most underrated.
Yeah, I was actually surprised, but Rob no longer has a Transcendence, and that kind of worries me because they baited that out. Well, they really baited it out. They forced it out. And Rob switches anyway, so it's not a big loss for him in the end, I guess, because he's going to go over to Brigitte, as Hobbs has switched over to. So they've got the 2.5 tanks set up here now. Poise might have to switch off the Tracer. I mean,
they got Kha'Zix immediately. Dino sniped him up from downtown, but Vita was a little bit too aggressive. He got stunned by the Brigitte, couldn't Primal Rage in time, and that means NRG has a chance of pulling this back even with the early pickoff because they don't have to worry about the Winston disrupting their backline. If Vita was able to live, that would have been a very different fight here. But he wasn't able to live. NRG gets to reestablish, and now they're about to have a Valkyrie to deal with this Transcendent in a moment. Pugs goes down, and NRG is holding strong. You just like watching Pugs die, I get it.
He jumped back on top of him with the pulse bomb and killed him. It was great. Anyways, tries to another kill. Self-destruct comes in, kills Insomniac. It looks like NRG will hold on to the third point. But considering how slow that first point take was, NRG have to be looking at that as we could have held them at first. We could potentially have held them at second. But they do finally shut it down. They do limit them again here like on King's Row and shut it down at the third.
The key difference here between King's Row is that oftentimes you're expected to get into third on King's Row. That's sort of the expectation. Historically, especially at tier 2 level play, we don't see teams get through second on Dorado that often. In fact, I'd have to go look at, but it's very close to being the norm that a team gets held on second. So this is very, very winnable for No Clout right now if they're able to look at their defense and just make sure that when they get to the second bend that they manage their ult economy and don't get caught off guard. The only way that I think it could go badly for them is where you let NRG get too much momentum and then you just get overpowered in a raw ult advantage or something as you hit that second bend. But if No Cloud could just avoid that, they could be in a good spot here to even up the series.
Well, speaking of momentum, I mean, I think you're kind of like bang on. If you look at what happened on King's Row, like it took NRG forever to get that first point. They were down to like 30. No, they were, yeah, down to like 5 seconds left, if I'm not mistaken. Like it was extremely close to being in overtime before they took the first. But once they got second, they kind of once they got first, they kind of snowballed into third and snowballed into the victory. I'm a little bit sad to not see though on the defending side here for No Clout go for the same Orisa Hog combo. Instead, they're investing into the Diva. So the Diva pretty much shuts down the Hog, the hook Halt combo. Just the fact you use defense matrix, you're not gonna be able to hit the Halt anymore. But I'm still a little bit sad to not see them use it because that actually worked out decently well for them when they were able to finally combo things correctly.
The other part that's a little bit weird to me, where look, to a degree, it's a big advocate for diversity in the meta right now that you're not seeing Pugs on Hanzo all the time. But with how good he was on Hanzo, I do wonder if it hits that rare moment where forget the meta, just play what you're good at, and No Clout. They're going for the train wreck here, Jason.
All right, so then I guess this is their game plan. They would hold up close and personal. That shield, I think, will give it away. Insomniac is even on the Reinhardt. So they've got technically like a solo support. They got like triple tank with Brigitte, and they only have Dino to heal with. It's gonna be so hard for Dino to kind of keep him alive. Obviously, Hops can do it too, and with them being this close to fight, she's gonna get a lot more value off of her healing.
Well, the house defense is well known right now to the offense. They know what's going on right now. And the question is, can No Clout's House of Pain work out? Or is it going to be a party room that they wish they weren't invited to? For now, they're holding down, but now they have to step out a little bit to defend the payload. You don't want to stay in this room as life passes you by, but this is a bizarre opening, and Poise is licking his chops right now, getting so much damage in between, already almost has a rip tire, stays alive despite the pressure, and this gambit from No Clout is just not going to work.
So, I mean, It's not going to work. They're still getting some kills in the meantime. I'm surprised to see Dino actually use the Coalescence there, but I guess he's going to eventually switch over to Zen. They've lost that first attack, but they bought a hell of a lot of time. And they know they have a lot of time they have to really, wear down against NRG. Because they didn't finish the map.
Here's the problem for me is that, yes, they bought a lot of time, but look at the ults on the other side. They've fully charged up NRG, and Poise alone might be able to put this fight into the moment of no return. It's going to come down to this tire from Pugs. Pugs lets the tire loose first. It's going to be going on this outside angle, looking for anything on the pickoff. If it gets one, might be enough, but now the tire's going the other way. Stratus is out of the fight, but now you look towards the tire for Poise, and it's taken down. Pugs does what needed to be done, and now there's a chance NoCloud could hold on. Nope.
Well, they get the res in. They've lost Hobbs, but they get the res on the Pugs. That's the Dragon Strike coming across. If Spec still has Whole Hog, and they also have Transcend. They have double support ultimate, so I don't really see NoCloud as having a chance to survive this, and then Insomniac gets pulled in with the great hook and Hulk combo. And they do cross the line. They get the first point. It was a risky
too much
play,
power.
but yeah.
I do think they had about as good of an opening as they could have had with Pugs, getting the kill with the tire, even though ends up getting res back up and killing the other tire, but just so much power that they had to deal with, and frankly, they didn't even make NRG use the bulk of it. Where NRG now, we talked about momentum in the second, this is the situation NoCloud needed to avoid.
Yeah, the double support ultimates are going to be really kind of tough to deal with, especially for especially like for Hobbs, because Faz again can just fly. If Hobbs does get set up, it's like, all right, well, you're set up in a good position, but Fazix can kill you once the Valkyrie's used. 1-for-1 trade. The Faz can get the res, so technically it's a 1-bro exchange in favor of NRG.
Stratus was at 2 HP, almost picked off by Hobbs, but he gets to live, and that could come back to haunt. Maybe not. No, he's healed back up in time. He was almost death dove on by Hawk, ends up staying alive, getting healed by Mercy all the while. Specs lets loose the whole hog, and NRG deals with the dive, and Stratus lives to fight another day, and he might just let this dragon loose right now, just getting rid of the people on the side, and nope, he holds on to it, gets Hobbs for free.
Well, because now they have something we saw happen in the first game with Envision. They have the Halt and the Dragon Strike combo. So they don't have a Graviton, but you know what? They have something almost as good. That's on an 8-second cooldown. If you halt them together, if you like pre-plan it, if you say Warrior Dragon Strike and you halt them into it, you can still get those kills, especially if anyone's squishy's in there.
And NRG, they're playing with the house money right now. They have 4 minutes and 30 seconds where not only do they have the ult edge coming in here, but they also get so many attempts at this. 4 minutes, 25 seconds left. Stratus up again, really pick off, and this is going to force out the early Valkyrie here from NoCloud. NoCloud diving on in, but Hawk gonna get forced out here early on. NoCloud just barely playing on the fringes in the moment. But for now, they're staying alive because of the Valkyrie, and they still have the Transcendence in reserve. Now they're going to layer in the Transcendence to deal with the Dragon. If Fozik's down, they might actually hold.
I think they're able to. Pug's coming up big here, but again, Dino's now following. Riptire going to be coming in. This time it's out of Poise. The tire, it looks like it will not be killed. Yes, it does actually get finished off this time by Hawk. Poise has got to be pissed off at this rate. But the payload is still moving. They're still getting kills. The res will come in. Vita Coco will, be res back alive again and push Poise out of the fight. At least for now. But the numbers, it's all blue at the moment.
It is all blue. Rob laying in the damage from the backline, and that might be all she wrote right now. Vita Coco gonna fall with the last little bit of delay. No one left on the NoCloud side, so NRG gonna take the series, and I think it is sort of what you expected earlier on, Jason, where you thought NRG would take the series 2-0, but on the same note, it was a much stronger showing than NoCloud that I think we had expected early on.
Oh yeah, no. I expected NRG to win the match, but I expected them to win pretty easily. And NoCloud put up an insanely good fight. Yeah, I really have to give them credit for that, and I really hope to see them, further on in the turn. Obviously, they're not out just yet since it is double elimination, but they will be forced down to the loser bracket for now.
Let me ask you this in terms of change-ups there, where we saw Pugs having very, very good moments, particularly on the Hanzo over the course of the series. It felt like he trailed off on the other heroes, where, yeah, he had a good moment as Junkrat, but other than that, do you think that was a case where they might have been better off just keeping Pugs on the Hanzo regardless? Because it did feel like there was a big drop-off in power for NoCloud, and sure, a lot of it does relate to different maps, different strategies. Maybe you don't want to run the Hanzo all the time in Dorado, but I don't know if the change-up was worth it there.
Well, I mean, they did put him back onto Hanzo, eventually, but are you talking about the first point when he was using Junkrat?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like Junkrat... I feel like Junkrat gives you almost more value on first point. because there's not a lot of high ground you can use as a Hanzo on defense to do much with, to like be sneaky and attack for different angles. It's mostly they're coming one direction at you. And what's better to punish that by spamming grenades? I feel like Junkrat was definitely like the right choice for first point. And then again, you could always argue, oh, the Dragon Strike, you know, you can always shut them down there with the Dragon Strike in that tight area. But overall, the Junkrat will give you more zone control than a Hanzo will, especially with the shields constantly being spammed away at. I don't know. I feel like just the first point wouldn't have favored a Hanzo that well. And I think it was a smart choice to go Junkrat, but they really showed a weakness in stopping the momentum the NRG had. Like once NRG got rolling, again on King's Row and this map, they had no chance to slow it down.
Well, I would say part of that too is that you think about the strategy that they ended up coming back with, right? Where no Clout decided to do this room defense strategy, but even though they bought time, like in fairness, they did buy a reasonable amount of time there on that defense. The problem was that you look at all the power they gave NRG, that kind of gave NRG the ability to snowball heading through first, heading through the rest of second. And you generally want things to be a little bit more even as you get to that final second point, and it wasn't going to be the case. But
that I don't really agree with. I mean, I agree with you in disagreeing with them making that decision. I mean, yeah, it can work out really nicely, but it's like, hey, you switch to a Junkrat and a Hanzo, and you have so much spam that those shields will eventually run out. And even with the Roadhog they had, like eventually you will burst through, and eventually you will create space and the opportunity to kill people in there.
All right, guys. Well, we're not ready to say goodbye just yet, but we are going to be taking a break. When we come back, it's going to be bye week, taking on up-and-comers Karasuno, of course, known for their recent power play over the weekend in Overwatch Open Division. So stay tuned, guys. We'll be back in just a bit.